Alright there, my name's Ragtag and I'm the greatest gutter tier gamer on the face of this earth. Hero of the Humdrum, incredibly inconsistent, and master of the mediocre are but a few of the titles I hold for my continual fails in gaming, and today, I've got a game for all you losers out there that might reignite the fire inside your plums as you pop the heads off your enemy's shoulders with cathartic delight until the cows come home. The man-shaped, sinister pig snout cows. Now, Killing Floor 2 has been around for a little while now, but it just received an update that caught my beady eye, and that is the Back and Kickin Brass update where we've got some new toys to play with, but most importantly, a new map with a steampunk theme. If you don't know what I mean by steampunk, just think of 19th century industrial tech thrown into the future with cogs, wheels, and vintage goggles. Now, your opponents are going to be genetically modified mutated clones running rampant all over the place thanks to a mad scientist, but they are now just simply referred to as Zeds. Before we get into the details of this update, I'd like to thank Tripwire Interactive for sponsoring me shouting at this video, and you can find the link for the game in the video description below. Now, the main criteria I have for any game that is going to stand the test of time is, how satisfying does it feel to put an end to something that is in my path? The more disgusting the creature that has to die, preferably in some explosive way where their entrails end up splattered all over the place, then the more satisfying it is for me to want to keep doing it an infinite number of times. What I'm getting at here is that before I give any care whatsoever about why I'm doing what I'm doing, I need to know that the hit reg in the models is going to be awesome. The feedback of the guns and the recoil, but most importantly, the effect of whatever weapon I'm going to shove right up the arsehole of my enemy is a pleasant experience. At least for me. Now take clowns for example. I don't like them. I want to kill them, and once they're dead, maybe I'm not satisfied with that death, so I might chop off a few more limbs until I slash them out of the plane of this existence because I can't deal with those horn-tooting, flower, pistol spin, cheap slapstick figures. I'm fine. So the ragdoll effects are really good, especially when slow motion kicks in. You can really appreciate flying Zeds in more detail, and the slow-mo is triggered by doing the one thing that you should all be getting pretty good at by now, and that is click foreheads. We're looking at the new map right here, which is the Steam Fortress, which has the different aesthetic that I was describing before, and even though the map has a lot more light compared to some of the other ones, you're still going to find disgusting arachnids and other Zed freakoids jumping out of air vents, tunnels, and basically other ways they're going to find their way straight to your anus that you're not going to know about until you feel that dreaded bite. But there's a new mode to go with this map which I absolutely adore, and it is called Objective. Instead of just fighting wave after wave of horrifying mobs, now you get to fulfill little tasks along the way, and these can be as simple as escorting a drone to welding a fuse box to my personal favourite, picking up missing gears. Now, if you're the kind of gamer that would rather let someone else complete objectives while you murder everything in sight, I can respect that because that could also be me. So what could developers possibly do to incentivize us, the bloodthirsty maniacs of this world, to contemplate picking up a gear and running it to an objective, especially when it slows your run speed down to chariots of fire? Well, I decided to take one for the team, pick up the gear, and when running in the middle of nowhere, absolutely shited my pants to find a ravenous horde of Zeds up my arsehole. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. And then...
bloody hell! Did that sting? Beat down!
Weapons are going to come to you in the form of a standard loadout depending on the perk that you select, which we'll come to in a minute. But every time you bash in the brains of a Zed, cash will be yours. Now when the round ends, the coins you've accrued can then be spent in a little shop where you can pick up guns, upgrade them, buy ammo, body armor, or just stand around and emote at people.
Stop mucking around!
One of the new weapons with such a delicious name is called the Seal Squeal, which is like a harpoon with an explosive tip that detonates after a few seconds, or you can just manually do it depending on how many Zeds are nearby, creating a beautiful mess. And I can tell you, on my first attempt at this gun, I went straight to the top of the kill board on area damage done alone. Now, I like FPS games, as you all well know, I really do. However, if someone said to me, hey, here's a game with guns, but by the way, you can also use a battle axe, my instant response is, give me that frickin' thing right now and I'll split the atom with this bitch. Only problem with the old battle axe is that if you're me, you don't always maybe feel fully in control of what's around in terms of danger. I mean, I know there is this mechanic in the game that I think it's described as blocking, although it might also be pronounced blocking. But there's something about holding my weapon out in front of me without swinging it. That just doesn't sit right with me. The other thing is that battle axes, they cost $2,000 in the game, and that is out of my price range until several rounds into the game. So, my new best friend quickly became one of the new added weapons in the form of the hemo clobber. The reason I like this is because it is a massive bat with needles laced right through the thing. You smack a Zed on the skull, they eat toxic gas, but better than that, smack your teammates right on the noggin to get a nice little heal for them, but it still gives you the satisfying sounds, just as if you'd whacked them on the head with a titanium baseball bat. All the while, you also can breathe in those tonical fumes for some self-heals, making the Berserker class all but invincible. Now I say class, but I really mean perks. When you've designed your character, and I currently have a Reverend on probation, fresh out of his theology graduation from his midlife crisis, you can select a perk which gains abilities every 5 levels as you're going up until 25, and then you can prestige that bad boy so that you can look like a magnificent, regal, sentient being with all those cosmetic skin rewards. Anyway, I'm currently leveling a bit of everything because I'm the kind of indecisive loser who would try out all the free samples in a food market and then call it a buffet. But going back to the game modes, there's a few more on top of Objective, with Survival, which has a PvP version 2, Endless, and there is a weekly mode, as you can see here. This one is called Cranium Cracker. Basically, headshots only. So we'll skip this week. Most of the games I've played so far were done on normal difficulty, but I went ahead and tried hard mode just to realise that there is a hell of a lot more to this game in terms of learning curve, making me wonder why they have titled the 2 difficulties above it Suicidal and Hell on Earth. Well, that's going to do it for now. Go and pick up Killing Floor 2 and I will see you in there because, well, let's just say the game could do with a few more supports right now, and actually I just mean I need a personal heal, bitch. I'm out of here. Later.
God, so cool when the whole team's together.
Glad you say that when I'm the only one not with the team.
Oh, you know... I was gonna say we look so squad-like.